In early 2018, the comic book RAGS was released digitally. The creators set up a Patreon account for fans of the comic to subscribe in exchange for exclusive content like physical copies of the standard issue, variants, other perks. Patreon is a service that allows independent artists to accept money so that they can continue offering what their fans are willing to pay for. Initially, the first set of Patreon members were told they were going to get this exclusive variant for just the people who were members at the time, and that was it. No more. This one variant was going to be printed, then go into retirement. Here, Brian says, only a handful of issues of this variant to number one. Just ultra rare. Then they open up a new tier to new members that made additional copies. Even now, if you look at the Patreon, it says you get a catch-up variant, batch 1. A batch, I'm assuming, is a print run, and the writer, Brian, is the only one who can get these variants printed. And he does it when he needs to, or he allows it to be opened up to the public like he did with this RAGS number 1 standard, or what they call normie. This one right here, anyone could go in and print it, then resell it on eBay, which is what happened for a considerable amount. They were selling this. They went in, they bought it for $5, put it up on eBay, said it was self-published pre-Antarctic, which was not even true. As you can see in this picture, you may even receive the copies direct from Indie Planet as they're being printed, leading me to believe that there is no exclusivity to these self-published RAGS comics. Not when you could turn this faucet of printing on and off. These Patreon subscribers made it possible for the creative team to produce this comic. And you, as a Patreon subscriber, you get all of this, but what you might not know is that you are entering into an agreement that even though you pay your monthly dues of $20, you're not allowed to sell your comic book on eBay. You're not allowed to do anything with it. You can own it, okay? If you do sell it and they know it's you, you'll be booted from Patreon as a member. If they don't know it's you, Brian, one of the writer, he'll open up the print on demand to anyone who wants to go to Indie Planet and order however many issues they want to order. He says, well, we will flood the market. And it's not clear what the point of this punishment is, and punishing all these people that made your comic book possible. The person who did the deed has already sold the comic. The other Patreons have now had something important to them stripped away, and they're the ones supporting your creative effort. It benefits eBay sellers who will take advantage of this. The snakes in the grass who will go out and print them knowing they're $5 and sell them for $150. That's who it benefits. And Brian recognizes this when he starts off with this new addition to any self-published printing that goes out. Hey fan, if you bought this off of eBay, you got scammed. Sorry. You could have joined Patreon or given me $20. It's not like the fan knew about your Patreon. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have supported you over paying $100 or whatever the case might be. Brian says this is an FU to flippers and scalpers. It's the people who are benefiting of the scalpers and RAGS. Because each time someone goes and prints up a 5-pack of this ideal for resellers, as Brian included in this currently live print-on-demand offer for RAGS number 2, the ultra-exclusive variant. You could go look at it right now. Each time this is purchased, that $30 or $40 book to him, that goes to him, minus whatever Indie Planet's cut might be. And I'm sure Brian says, well, I said perfect for resellers sarcastically. Yeah, dude. Okay, I believe you. See, I could be sarcastic too. But the speculators do help get the word out. But Brian, he wants this book to be in the hands of people who want to own it. That's who is going to own it anyway. I have a subscription on Key Collector, right? This isn't me trying to publicize this. I'm saying I can identify with your situation. But I don't think of it in the same way. People tell me, I found this, or I picked this up, or the app pays for itself. I don't get upset that I'm not seeing a percentage of it. I don't say people are riding my coattails. People are paying for their car payment. Good. I'm glad that I have something that they are benefiting from. And the collector is getting something that they want. People spend what they can afford and are willing to buy. It shouldn't matter to you. Who cares what the speculators do?
Goes, we honestly don't care.
Oh, I suppose you guys don't. Okay. This is all smoke and mirrors. Everything that comes from this is a contradiction. So here's a conversation I had with their PR guy. Here he tells me that Brian isn't making much on this. It's a labor of love. He's barely turning a profit at $4,900, the monthly income of his Patreon, which I believe that. I do. But go back a couple of sentences. Their PR guy, Biff Tannen, it is. And he tells me Brian didn't make this intending for it to be a cash cow, LOL. It just sort of happened. That is fine. Somebody that loves doing this, that wants to do it because they're passionate about it, they should be successful at it. And people that are enjoying it want that creator to be successful. But they don't want to be pushed around, and they don't want to be told not to do something when they paid for something, or screwed over, or ripped off by you or by somebody that you are giving the tools to do so. And by the way, with Antarctic, I have never heard of two companies publishing the same book simultaneously. Unless it was like a DC Marvel crossover where they were selling the Teen Titans and X-Men. Both of them were publishing the book. And Antarctic seems to have their numbers wrong too. As you could see here, they say the Virgin variant is limited to 200. But on their website, they say it's limited to 100. So who the hell knows what's going on with this book? But anyway, back to the contradictions. But he has no problem using somebody else's intellectual property to sell merchandise. Isn't that Spider-Gwen and Scarlet Spider? Oh, no. No, it's the RAGS characters. They're wearing those characters' costumes. And there's a lot more examples where that came from. But I asked how many variants were printed of number one, right? He tells me, well under 500. Closer to 300. So we're skipping 400 altogether. Now, under 300. Okay, so under 300. I like how he says here, well, I could tell you we opened up the print on demand because there was a shortage of physical copies. That's why we did it, because there was a shortage of physical copies. What? You're getting them from the same place. You're printing them on demand. The people that you've opened up to are printing it on demand. You could have limited it. Flippers took advantage of that, and you see what happened. That's what he said. Yeah, I see what happened. Thousands were printed. Then you did it again. That's crazy. How do I know it wasn't? And look, I'm not saying that this is the case, okay? This is just a hypothetical. But how do I know it wasn't someone affiliated with RAGS that put up that variant on eBay? So they could put the blame on someone, some unknown rule breaker, so that the print-on-demand punishment could open up again and sell another thousands of these issues to flippers and scammers. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying why not? Because I also find it odd that under this eBay seller here, 7 out of 12 comics that they've sold, lifetime, are RAGS. And they use the same terminology, normie. But I'm not making this allegation. It's just an observation. I spoke to PR guy, as nice of a guy that he seems, had contradicted everything that he said. And he even told me that the number ones were for reading only, not scamming, not selling, not collecting. Whoa, wait, not collecting? I can't, so I could buy this, I could read it, but I can't put it in a poly bag. Even though earlier, didn't you say they're supposed to be for collectors? So just read it, but don't you dare put it in a long box. My question was, how do I know if this is valuable? And he said, well, it's not valuable. This is censored and it's unlimited. And I also spoke to Brian, Paul, the writer. Is this censored? I asked him. And he said, well, some are, some aren't. People want to take a chance on eBay. That's on them. Okay, this is simple. Just tell me the answer, right? because some are, some aren't, is not the answer. According to the PR guy and according to everybody that seems to be getting these issues, the answer is these are censored. So what is this some are, some aren't? If it meant that much for you to keep this specific to Patreon, then maybe you could have numbered the issues during the printing process. I don't know what goes on, what goes into that. But that could have been an option, right? Or instead of letting anyone order it, maybe take a bi-weekly order and have Indie Planet drop ship them. Or maybe have the word censored printed somewhere inconspicuously so that it was a greater risk for the eBay seller to put that up and try and sell it as uncensored. Or print on demand. Have it say print on demand version on the cover. Because on this cover it says Patreon version. So what would be the big deal if it said print on demand version? If you're willing to print this page that just rubs people's face in it, then why couldn't you just put this little thing on the cover that might have helped out? That might have saved people a lot of money and saved you a lot of grief. My God. I mean, you got to be taking it now. And no one can blame the collector who buys it and gets screwed because a lot of people don't have the time or the experience to delve into finding the answer when the answer is ambiguous at best. We are doing our best to be as transparent as possible. You don't do your best to be transparent. You are transparent. You are open. You are truthful. You don't have to do your best. You just are. Like when someone asks, is this issue censored or uncensored? Why didn't you tell me? These are available for $5, print on demand. They're censored, but they're available for $5. Don't buy them on eBay. Why wouldn't you tell me that? So I could tell my audience. This is very abnormy. You know, people try to get into this business. People want to be in this business, this creative environment, and it's comic books. It's something fun, and it's just a shame that somebody's in it and just pissing all over it. But yeah, look, Rags is beautifully drawn. People seem to enjoy the story. That's a good start in this business. It's a good start towards success. But these antics and this overt manipulation and subterfuge is it's dishonorable. Please subscribe. Just tap that button in the lower left-hand corner. If you have Facebook, like Key Collector Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and download the free mobile app. Give it a try if you haven't. If it's been a while, give it a try again. We've made a lot of changes. It's free. And also go to keycollectorcomics.com.